Hi, I'm Mike, and this is What's the Score? Today we're going to be talking about the 3 notes of the NBC chime. Now that seems kind of insignificant, but there's actually a lot of ways to talk about how 3 notes are related. Well, first, the NBC chime was used to cue radio stations within a network to begin broadcasting their identifications. So at the same time, every hour, you would hear, "Boom, boom, boom. Hey, this is WXYZ coming to you live from," whatever the name of the station was. So that's what it was for. It became so ubiquitous with NBC that it was the first audio to be trademarked by the US Patent Office in 1950. However, their use became functionally obsolete in the 70s because of automation. But they were just so popular that they were used as an audio logo instead. Originally, there were a few variations of the chime, one of them with 7 notes. But of course, the one that we're familiar with today has 3, starting on this G, going up a major 6 to E, and down a major 3rd to C. So what does that mean? Well, in music, we call these intervals, and we use them to describe the distance between 2 pitches. And we could find them by looking at their relationship in scales or in semitones. So here's a G major scale which uses the notes G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. It's kind of like a predetermined set of notes musicians choose from, kind of like using letters from an alphabet. Now a major 6th is the distance between the first note and the 6th note. Major scale, 6th step, major 6th, G and E. Even if you don't know about scales, you could still find an interval by counting semitones or half steps, which are the smallest distance that we have between the 12 pitches we use in most of Western music today. Looking at G and E, we find that a major 6 is the same as 9 semitones. So we've covered G going to E, so now we'll do E going to C. And for that, we'll start with the lower sounding pitch, C. Looking at the C major scale, E is the 3rd step. C major scale, 3rd step, a major 3rd. This is also the same as 4 semitones, so putting it on the grid or playing it on a piano, no surprise, 4 semitones up is the note E. So how else can we describe these 3 notes? Well, the notes spell out a C major triad that in its simplest order or root position is spelled C, E, and G. Rearrange it once and it's E, G, and C, or what we call the first inversion. Rearrange it again, it's G, C, and E, or the second inversion. And here we find the NBC chime. A C major triad in second inversion, starting on G, goes up a major 6 to E and down a major 3rd to C. Now let's play around with these 3 notes. We're so used to hearing them in a very specific order that if we change their position and direction, it has a different sound. Same notes, same triad, but a different shade of the C major color. So changing their position and direction, the notes of the NBC chime could look and sound like this. Or this. Or this. So even though they use the same notes and sound related, they each have a distinct identity. Within the 3 basic positions, there's 18 possible combinations, each with their own unique shade of C major. I could play all of them for you and you probably wouldn't recognize them, but if I played this one, you would instantly be able to identify it. And you could probably thank NBC for that. So thanks NBC for decades of conditioning and brainwashing us blind consumers so that the sound of 3 notes can instantly remind us of your quality programming. But seriously, this video probably doesn't change the way you perceive or hear the NBC chime. You're going to hear it the same way whether or not you know about scales or intervals or semitones or whatever. Just like I don't really need to know how an engine works for me to start my car. It's interesting how groups of notes can sound so different and similar at the same time, and that slight change can be the difference between a sound being recalled and etched into your memory or just simply dissipating into the background.